guys, what is up? This is Brianna, aka Disturbriana. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into my channel. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe to my channel and then click the notification bell so y'all can be notified on other videos that I am posting in the near future. Now, I know the past few videos y'all saw that I've been up and about, and I'm just now getting caught up with everything. I recently just posted the second part of my birthday, which was the day after my birthday, and it's a whole month of some change after my birthday, so go check that out. And I'm sorry that was late, and I'm about to tell y'all why that was late briefly. As y'all can see, my setup is different behind me and all that, and that is because we moved. Yes, we moved, and I am basically giving y'all a review of my old apartment now that I am out of it. I ain't telling y'all where I live at now, but let's just say I'm in Delaware County, where I'm not used to it. It's more suburban-ish. So although I always wanted to live in the suburbs, I'm not used to it. I'm used to the city. I'm used to hearing noise, knowing what's going on. I'm really just going to get all into it because there were pros, but there were a lot of cons. And I'm first going to start off with disclosing the name, and I was at, drum roll please, JK, but I was at Alden Park Apartments. Yes, that is Alden Park Apartments, and that is located at 5500 Wissahickon Avenue. I was there, well, Jeff and I was there for 2-ish years. He moved in first, I moved in second, a month after him. So for him it was more so 2 years, for me it was more like a year and 11 months. But we were there for 2 years, and we've had our ups with it, and we've had a lot of downs with it. So I'm just gonna get all into it. I'm gonna do that by reading my Google review, because I actually did post one, and my Google review was posted, when was my Google review posted? I forgot. Because one day I was just really mad at them based off of everything that was going on around that time, and I did a Google review. I'm going to be giving y'all some updates on that review as I go along, because I haven't updated on Google. I actually wrote this about a year ago, so I figured it was about a year ago, and I gave it 2 stars, and it should have been 1. It was originally 1, but then my mom said I was being too mean, so she said give it 2. I'm going to change it back to 1. I'm just letting y'all know that now. First of all, there were 3 different management groups out of the 2 years we lived there. And our favorite was the very first one, which was Village Green. When things was messed up, they fixed it on time. Their staff was amazing. They were nice. They were kind. They always had like little fun events that we got flyers on the door about, and they were a little bit more welcoming. They got stuff done. First thing I said off the rip was, I'm not sure why Alden Park has an online work order system and they don't follow it. So around that time, this was with the, I believe, Lincoln Properties Management Group. And with that, you know, most apartment complexes, they have these systems and portals where you pay to rent online. Along with that, there's a system, a work order system, where you put in tickets for maintenance orders and stuff like that. Stuff is broken, need to be fixed, need to be looked at, cleaned, whatever the case may be. With Lincoln Properties, their work order system, they would update that they fixed something and it wasn't really fixed, and stuff like that annoyed me. It says here, there's been too many occasions where either my boyfriend or myself has had to submit work orders due to our code on the keypad not working. Now, for those that's been to Alden Park Apartments, whether you're visiting me or visiting someone else, if you are going into the entrance that's at either Wissahickon or Schoolhouse Lane, or Wissahickon and Shelton Avenue, there are these keypads where you gotta put in the last 5 digits of the lease owner's cell phone number. So in this case, for us, it was the last 5 digits of Jeff's cell phone number. It calls him, and if you gotta speak to the person before you press the number 9 to let them in, you'll speak to him, press number 9, and it unlocks the gate and the gate's open. For us, with Village Green, they did work. And when they didn't work, they fixed it right away and then worked. With Lincoln Properties, because this whole review was based off of Lincoln Properties Management, when we kept putting in work orders and tickets and letting them know, yo, our keypad isn't working to get into the building or to get past the gates, and they will update that they fixed it, and then when you go try it the same day, a few hours later, maybe a few minutes later, it still don't work. So them fixing it was bullshit, basically. I go on to say that when we have guests over, or when we have an Uber or a Lyft picking us up, or if Uber or Grubhub is dropping off some food, we can't even help them get past the gate because it keeps saying that the number is invalid or the code is invalid. So then what do me and Jeff end up doing? We have to either walk to the gate, which is not a far walk, but it's not a close walk either. We have to either walk to the gate, or we got to get in our car, risk losing the parking spot that we're in, drive to the gate and get our stuff. That was a tedious process. I do need to get into the gates because with Village Green, there was only these one set of gates and they were white. And they still had a keypad over there, but those gates were more responsive, I should say. And then once Lincoln Properties came, they all of a sudden built this black gate that's a little bit more closer to the street, which is a huge problem. And if you've been on Wissahickon Avenue is a busy street, especially since Alden Park is right near Lincoln Drive. Bro, it's right near Lincoln Drive, and whether you're coming off of Lincoln Drive or going to Lincoln Drive, it's a busy street. So the fact that they had built these new gates closer to the street, if there's a line of cars trying to go into Alden Park, in this case, the gate's not working, it holds up so many cars behind you, it makes no sense. The white gates that Village Green had, it was a little farther up, so even if there was a line of cars, it doesn't interrupt the Wissahickon traffic. With the gates being closer to the street as they were, it interrupted traffic so bad both ways. It don't even matter which way you was coming from. They just thought that it would have been, I guess, safer and more sturdier and whatever the case may be, but it was actually even more stupid for them to do. There were 3 buildings associated with Alden Park. There was Manor Building, which is 5500 Wissahickon Avenue. There was Cambridge, which was more so on the Schoolhouse Lane Street. And then our building was Kenilworth. Now Kenilworth, the address had Schoolhouse Lane in it, but it wasn't on Schoolhouse Lane. So it's literally the furthest building that's in the back. Kenilworth had 2 sides. There was the right side and the left side. Jeff and I were on the left side of the building. Our unit overall was cool. We had a studio deluxe, which included a smaller 1-bedroom, but our stuff wasn't gonna fit in there. Our dressers wasn't gonna fit. Our bed wasn't gonna fit. And if it would have, this probably would have been the only thing that did fit. And hey, Jeff.
Hey.
Before you leave me, give the people your opinions on Alden Park.
I mean, long story short, like the way it looks is fine. Like, it looks gorgeous, but like you were saying before, the management is just horrible. Like, it's horribly ran. Like, witnessing 3 different property management groups while we were there for 2.5 years. Well, 2 years. My personal favorite one was the first one we had, which was Village Green.
Yep, and that's what I told them.
Yeah.
They did everything we wanted. And I was just telling them about how we had the studio deluxe, where it was a studio, but it had a 1-bedroom, but it was like really small. And what we decided to do was, for the actual studio area, half of it was a living room, half of it was our bedroom, and we had a divider. So all those times y'all see my other vlogs, I was sitting in front of the divider.
Yeah, what's behind that was the bedroom.
Yes, and y'all never saw.
Yeah.
That's how we made it work. And then the bedroom, we actually turned that into our computer space, and we called it the computer room. So with him being a graphic designer and me being a videographer / video editor / web designer, it just made sense to do it that way. I was telling them how in our unit necessarily we didn't have a lot of other issues that other people complained about, like not
our
specific.
issue was just the management. That was all it was. Like
we didn't.
The gate code and everything like that wasn't working.
Yeah,
that never worked. That was never fixed. So
we didn't have rodents like mice or roaches. Like we never dealt with stuff like that. Occasionally we saw a spider, and occasionally we saw a ladybug, and that was probably
like last year.
I mean, and then it was like once every few months at that. I think the main thing we dealt with in general, which I also got into in the review, was the water going on and off. And it was like it took a long time.
Like you get in the shower, it took a long time for the water to heat up.
That too.
So you have to run the shower for like maybe 5 to 10 minutes before it can heat up.
And when the water would cut off in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And what I hated that they did was they didn't give you more than enough common courtesy time to let you know that the water was being cut off due to them fixing
send you an email
filters or
4 hours in advance.
That's not enough time. And at the time that I wrote this review, I was at my old job where I worked at night. I get dressed in the middle of the day. I gotta be late for work because I couldn't take a shower. I'm sure my manager didn't want to keep hearing that.
I mean, they just assumed that nobody was there during the day, so they didn't know.
Which I understand that. And which I understand that, but you have to keep in mind of the people that work later. There's people that work overnight, people that just work at night, and it was just BS.
Yeah, whatever they're using to supply the entire apartment with water, the complex is not working. I don't think it's big enough to,
and it's old
service
too.
Everybody at one time.
And it's old too.
So while some people might have air, for example, most might not have air.
Yes. That is another thing. We are one of the lucky people that didn't really have too much air and heat issues.
No, we did at times. But
not. The only time was like this past summer where for maybe a week or two we were kind of like assed out, but a lot of people didn't have air for months.
Yeah, I saw
during
a
the
couple
summer.
This past summer. I was getting the elevator, and ironically, the guy's a lawyer. Mm-hmm. He was like, "Yeah, me and my wife didn't have air for the entire summer." I'm like, "Damn."
Mm-hmm. There's actually, I think, civil suits going on too. Like, there's been this one lawyer that's been helping a lot of tenants put in civil suits with Alden Park and stuff like that.
He has my name too. The guy that's the lawyer.
Yeah, I think they have my name too.
Something.
Yeah. And you brought up elevators. Speaking of the elevators, 9 times out of 10, or I'll say 8 times out of 10, they didn't work.
Yeah, so it's only one elevator per side of the building. So there's a left side and a right side.
There's
so
two.
There's one on each side. Two elevators.
There's one that's the general tenant elevator, and then the other one is the freight elevator. Now the freight elevator is the bigger elevator because when you're moving in, moving out, having big furniture and stuff like that, it fits all of that stuff in there. The bad part about that is the freight elevator was the elevator that was broken the most. And right before we moved to our current place here, the freight elevator wasn't working. Luckily, they got it to work the last minute. And we actually did put in like a work order about that too. I think a few weeks ahead of time.
Yeah.
To let them know, like, this cannot be broken around this time because we're supposed to be moving out. And even the regular tenant elevator, that wasn't working from time to time. And us living on the 6th floor, we had to take the stairs. It was annoying. For me, it was annoying. Parking. Village Green had guest passes. And with that, you went to the front desk, where the lease owner had to go to the front desk. Oh, go ahead. My boyfriend coming back with the Village Green management. They had guest passes, right? So what you would do is you go to the front desk, you tell them you need a guest pass for a car. They have you fill out this paper where you fill out the guest's name and their license plate and the time that they arrived. And the guest pass is valid for 24 hours. And that's how the security knew that they were guests and didn't have a parking sticker. Another good thing about Auto Park, that we got the parking sticker for free, but of course if we lost it or got another car, it would have been $100. Thank God we never lost our parking sticker. That was a good method for having guests over, having the whole guest pass system and having the, not expiration time, but expiration time. We never really had a lot of guests stay the night. We only had very little. As far as the guests that we had over, they usually stayed for a few hours. At the time that I wrote this review, we had Lincoln Management, right? Lincoln Properties. They took guest passes away and our guests had to park on the street. And that's not fair because A, there's not a lot of parking on the street. B, there's enough parking spaces that our guests could park into, but when I went to the office one day, the reason why they said they took them away is because the tenants that were living there were having more than one car and they couldn't really keep track of what cars actually belonged to what tenants or whatever the case may be. They kept saying how they were going to put that back in place, but they never did. And even with the new property management now, Rams, they still didn't put the guest passes back. Too bad that our guests, I'm not going to say never, but rarely parked on the street. We just knew when they had to leave before security checked the cars and gave them a ticket and all this other stuff. And that's the other thing. A lot of people were complaining about, and even people that has parking stickers, the towing. Like, without the guest passes, like, they are so ready to tow somebody's car, it makes no sense. And my car was one of the cars that was towed one night due to me parking in a parking spot where they didn't really say that the place that I parked at wasn't a parking spot. There were no signs, no yellow lines, no red lines, none of that signified that that was an illegal parking spot. One morning, I had to go somewhere before going to work, and I noticed that my car was not there. And I was like, where's my car? I walked past one of our neighbors who has this cute little dog. I'm going to miss her because she was really nice. And she was like, are you okay? I said, no, my car is missing. And she was like, well, where did you park? I showed her where I parked at, and she was like, oh, well, that's an illegal parking spot. And I'm like, what? There's no signs, there's no yellow lines. Like, what do you mean this is an illegal parking spot? And she said, what did she say? She said she's seen a couple people get their car towed just from being in that spot. And she was like, if I would have saw you last night, I would have told you not to park there. You don't really get notified when your car is towed. It's like you have to call the cops, and then when you give them a license plate, they then tell you that your car is towed. Because I knew that my car was towed, I didn't even call the cops. I called the front desk and said, who is y'all towing company, because y'all towed my car? And they told me where it was, which was like Germantown, Allegheny. I had to pay $200 to get my car out of the towing lot. Not to mention the money I had to pay Uber to even get to the towing place. I was actually late for work that day too. Actually, did I go? I don't even think I went. Luckily, I had the money, but I was very annoyed at what I had to deal with because I had a parking sticker. Not only that, but I find out months later, I think probably a year later, that I got a ticket from that. And what I learned is that in certain cases, you gotta get a ticket first before your car gets towed. So the security called the cops gave a ticket, and then after they did that, then the security called the towing company. When I got my car, I didn't even see a ticket on the window or anything like that. So my ticket flew out the window as y'all towed my car. It was one of the most annoying days of my life. Not only people cars getting towed, there's people whose windows have been broken into because there's been some burglaries. And at one point there were burglaries of stealing handicap stickers or handicap passes. We have a handicap pass for, you know, people that ride in our car, like our grandmothers, but we never parked in a handicap spot. We never did that, and we never put up the pass in those spots. and luckily we didn't, because our car was not a car that got broken into. We always made our rent payments online. I don't always trust giving checks to people, especially apartment complexes, because they like to say that you didn't give it to them and you actually did, and you know, they cheat you out of your money. And I just rather pay online, where I know it has the SSL certificate and the payments will be secure, because I have a digital receipt and they get a notification, we get a notification, and I would just leave it at that. They switched their security. They suck. Like the security we had with Lincoln Properties, they were strict, which also got on my nerves. These security guards with Rams, they're shitty. They're very shitty. So I'm going to show you proof of how shitty Alden Park is in a little bit. Yeah, each property management that they've switched to, it seemed like it just went downhill and downhill and downhill. I think at one point at the Cambridge building, somebody got shot. Manor and Kenilworth, there were some like muggers in the building, stuff like that. Like the security, like y'all not doing y'all job. Oh yeah, speaking of security, the gates would oftentimes be broken. So for people like Jeff and I who get excited about it because we don't gotta deal with the whole key pad BS, we had key fobs. So for us getting in, it wasn't always an issue, but sometimes the key fobs also was not working with the keypad. There were other people that were worried about the safety, of course, of the gates being broken and letting any old body in. And I do have to agree with that, but I was just one of those people who wasn't thinking about that at the time. I was just like, yes, get me in so that I can get in my bed or do whatever. The overall scenery of the place, at least when Village Green had it, it was like well kept, clean, presentable. With the staff as well, it made it even more presentable. And then management, each time it changed, scenery went downhill. It seemed like there was less effort to clean. We did like the fact that our washers and dryers were on our floor. We just had to get out, walk a little bit down the hall, and it was right there. It was very convenient. We did have to load up a laundry cart and keep putting money on it to reload it and everything. The package room, I hate that place. Village Green kept it nice and neat. They are partnered with Luxor One, which is like this third-party package locker system that when you get packages, they put them in a locker based off the size. You get a code to your phone or to your email. You put in that code once you get to the package room. It opens the locker, you get your package. In this case, I don't know what Lincoln Properties or Rams is doing with it, but the package room is so freaking horrible. There's no space in the lockers, and they have like 3 piles. So one is Manor, one is Cambridge, one is Kenilworth. Everybody package is just all over the place in these piles. Barely any walking room. What I will say is it's not completely the apartment's fault, because there's people who are lazy and don't want to get their packages. But the reason why it definitely is Alden Park's fault is because after I think 3 days, if you don't go and get your package, they're supposed to send it back to the post office or the UPS or USPS, whatever the case may be. They're supposed to send it back to those offices, and they don't. So they don't follow up with that, which is why there's never any space in the lockers. Luxor One's customer service is great. So they would explain to us that, oh, well, you know, we have a code for you to open up a locker, and we were notified that something was, you know, put in the locker, but for some reason the Wi-Fi in that package room or whatever internet that Alden Park has set up there is just bad. So they wouldn't notify us. Like, we would have to call Luxor One just to get them to unlock the locker. And we shouldn't have to get them involved like that. Yeah, it just, from the outside looking in, you think it looks cool, but it's really not. If you go to Philly University, which is now owned by Jefferson Hospitals, that may be one of your only options if you're moving off campus, because you are still close to the campus. And a few people has asked me when I was living there, does your apartment have any units available? Like, how much do you pay? Blah, 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 blah. And I'll just be like, it's not worth it. Do not move here. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. We definitely didn't stay because they was raising the rent $300. No, we was already paying too much for crappy worthless management service as it is. Our neighbors were always nice. It is a dog friendly place. I will let you know that it is a dog friendly place. So if you don't like dogs, don't move there. You'll see a bunch of them. I don't like dogs, but I can tolerate them to an extent. Do I recommend Alden Park? Hell no. Unless you are a student at Philly University, you ain't got no choice. No, do not move there. There is an Instagram page, right? And it's called Alden Park _living. The link is going to be in the description, and I'm just about to show y'all this demonstration real quick. You see, it's already on my top pages because I've been looking at it. It's called Alden Park _living. Somebody who I think currently lives in Alden Park or doesn't currently live there, but probably going through a silver suit with them. It is a page that basically shows a lot of the cons in Alden Park, and they kind of compare their marketing and their advertisement to what tenants really see in real life. As you will see here, we have a door that is damn near off the hinges, and you want to know who took that picture? Moi. Yes, I took that picture because I was going to get my mail from just a regular mail room, and this is what I saw. Like, this is a safety hazard. Like, what are you doing? This was in the lobby. Inconsistency of cleaning the tables and the pool. This is like an outside pool right here. People get sucked in by the pool mostly. The pool, the gyms and everything. But don't let that fool you because everything else is crappy and it's bullshit. This right here is one of the tables that's at the inside pool. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. It's probably from that big ass pool party they threw a few months ago. I have all them damn people. They showed like the room with the fireplace, and we did have a fireplace, but we never used it. But around that time, they had told everybody that had fireplaces that basically don't use them. And what's the point of having it if you can't use it, right? The jacuzzi, and it just looks dirty and it just looks nasty. Right here, boom, security. You sleep, bro? Like, it could be a robbery going on and you don't even care. Trash. Look at this trash. Why did I even zoom in? Look at this trash. Just look at it. Disgusting. 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 Look, here's a video from that big ass pool party. I'm not turning no sound on though. Look at all that. Look at that. I was coming from downtown when that pool party happened, and I had an Uber pool, and I was in the car with somebody that was going to that party, but I didn't even know we were going to the same place until when we got out to where I lived at in Kenilworth. The boy was like, well, can you show me where the pool is? And I didn't go over there. I just pointed to him where he had to go, but I didn't know that's why he was going. The page is fairly new-ish, so there's not too much stuff on here, but this page, what they do is they keep tagging Alden Park. They keep tagging the management company, which I think Rams actually blocked this page, and they still keep spamming them though because something needs to be done. That's it. Don't move there. Okay, for those that's looking at apartments and stuff like that, don't feel like you have to rush to really look, because you really got to do your research with these things. You got to look at reviews. At the time, Alden Park didn't have like a 2.7 review on Google. I think they had something in the low 4s or high 3s at the time that we moved in, and it went downhill from there. You really got to do your research and look at reviews. Like, all reviews are not going to be good. There's always going to be something that went wrong, that honestly went wrong. Take your time. And if you have any questions about finding apartments or the process, what's all the stuff you need, what are good areas to look at, definitely let me know. If you have any questions about Alden Park, whether you currently live there or you're thinking about moving there or you about to move out, let me know. I will answer them for you real red. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Very, very soon we're going to have a vlog basically telling y'all the pros and cons of our new place. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Check out that Alden Park _living page if you really want to get a laugh at what you think you want to move into. Alright? So, I'll talk to you guys later. You guys have a great rest of your day, night, whatever time of the day it is, enjoy yourself, love yourself, and yeah, that's it. Peace.